Alright, what's up everyone? So, I just wanted to try and give people an idea of where to aim for playing Paladins at the moment. At the end of 2020 in DDO here. Paladin's pretty meta, easily to execute and I guess pretty effective, so makes it pretty meta there. First things first, some people play pure Charisma Paladin. That's fine, you just need to take defeat to unlock that enhancement tree. You can do that, but for the intents and purposes of this video, I'm playing a strength-based one. Only means you lose a little bit of charisma. You should still have enough for a decent divine might, and I guess exalted smite if you're into that. So first things first, when you are trying to gear for endgame and doing raids, you need to pick. I would say first you want to pick the artifact you want to use. So I've got two here to choose from and aim for. I use Bright Lord Sigil of the Flame. It comes from the Gatekeeper's quest, I'm pretty sure. And the reason I've chosen this one is because it has the charisma on it and the armor piercing, right? Extra smites and the speed is just a bonus. I just happen to have charisma slotted somewhere, nowhere else, so I had to put it here. The other option is the brand of Cloak's Shash, which is from Sharn. Maybe a little bit harder to farm because I know they're quite rare now, but this gives you quality accuracy and quality deadly, which I do not have on any of my gear. So the argument there is that this might be the best in slot for a strength paladin in the current meta. So up to you to pick whichever one. I would probably say pick the brand of Cloak Shash for yourself, but then you have to have charisma slotted somewhere, probably on your collective site. Alright, so after you've picked that, the next thing you kind of want to do is get a set bonus. Now, the new gear from Feywild, obviously, the summer set is pretty good for melee tunes if you can get 7 pieces, or we probably only need you do need 7 for the artifact to melee power, but maybe just the 3 or 4 is doable as well. But I'll show you what I've done. I've chosen to go with the Sharn set using the Legendary Enforcer's Plate, Family Recruit Sigil, and Legendary Hammer Fist. So that gives you a 3-piece set. Double strike, your melee power, damage versus helpless. It's almost as good as a 7-piece summer set, really. So I would say go to Sharn, go through all the quests on normal or hard or whatever you can handle, pug a few of them, repeat them as you need to try and get some of this stuff. If you have more than one tune, that's great. But this is what you should be aiming for. And if you can't get this, it's fine just to go for some strength items and charisma and con in the meantime, just to fill whatever you've got. So I've chosen these 3 pieces, like I said, because they're the best. And so on top of that, the next piece I chose was the Titania's Glory. I think it might be best in slot for helms for melee tunes at the moment because it has the Crown of Summer bonus, which is plus 15 to healing amp and 10 melee power and range power. The Eternal Holy Burst is pretty cool, and the extra smites, it's great. But if you don't have that, I guess you could use the other Summer Helm from Endless Revels, which is Legendary Crown of Fireflies. Not as good, but has the summer bonus. I guess you could put it in. It feels good for a paladin. Another one is also Legendary Umber Brim. It's another Sharn item. It's got your insightful accuracy, deception, and profane well-rounded. All pretty handy, but understanding that usually your divine power will give you your insightful bonuses. So there you're just getting a bit of sneak damage and kind of rounding out some extra stats if you need to. Now for all the items I'm saying, just jump on Google and the wiki or whatever to find out what they look like, where they drop from, and what you need to do to get them. Or in saying that, you might see something else you like as well. But I always refer to the wiki if I'm missing, say, a con item, but all I've got is my cloak. I'll just search DDO con cloak and see what's available and try and squeeze it into my gear set. Anyway, after that, I've got a raid item for my trinket, but I would say probably a lot of people wouldn't if they haven't done raids yet and they're trying to gear their thing for the first time. So instead of that, there should be a trinket you can use that gives plus 5 charisma from the Gatekeeper's quests. I don't have it on me at the moment, but yeah, that's a good one. It's called the Battle-Worn Medal. I do have it just here. So Legendary Battle-Worn Medal gives you your plus 5 charisma, quality double strike, and greater heroism. It's a great item, and the only reason I have the other item that I had, the Chrism, is because it's a little bit better because it's got some double strike and defenses on it. But that comes from the raid Bubba's Hut. So like I'm saying, just try to farm out your Legendary Battle-Worn Medal. There's other great trinkets as well. You don't have to pigeonhole yourself into just this one. A few of the best trinkets do come from the Gatekeeper's quests. I believe they are free to play. quests quite easy, quite fast. People usually willing to run them. I feel like the loot is dropping on normal and hard, so get in there and farm it out if you need to. There's a quality strength trinket. If you don't have anywhere else for your quality strength, that's great. There's also a stunning trinket, which might be handy for you. But as I said, aim towards maybe a chrism. Now, next item, just gonna go random now. Just the rest of the items basically just to fill in the shit. So I got the legendary Cloak of Summer. Because it's got strength and insightful strength, it almost feels like it's just shoring up all the holes. It's almost best in slot, just because it's so easy to obtain. Just equip it, it's good to go. It's got double strike on it and some fire absorption. Pretty handy in a lot of raids, fire absorption, especially too hot to handle if you're moving into trying that. I really have no other cloaks I can suggest to be good except maybe Cloak of the City's Champion from Sharn. Cloak of Balance, if you need some +5 strength, they are possibilities, but probably working towards this one. And if you have this this pack, it's pretty easy to get. Now next, I'm using the Cornerstone Champion, which again is Raid Belt. I put my quality strength on it. I know it's pretty hard to get that one, so if you didn't have that, what I'd say would be to use Legendary Belt of the Ram or Legendary Belt of Sure Strikes. Now, Belt of the Ram is from Feywild. It's got your con and your quality strength on it, and your Ram's Might. The Ram's Might isn't obtainable on any other item in the game. And it's just basically +2 damage and +2 strength, which is pretty good. And the Legendary Belt of Sure Strikes has magical sheltering, right? Very important, and I basically don't have that slotted anywhere. The quality combat mastery and the quality accuracy are both also pretty amazing. Bumps up your die charge DC and gives you some very important MRR. You want to try and get your MRR over 150 if you're going to be jumping into raids, and PRR at least 200. This is pretty important, almost non-negotiable. You don't want to be dying all the time. So that's why I'd say if you are new, this one here, Legendary Belt of Sure Strikes, drops in the Gatekeeper's chain somewhere. You have to wiki that one. Or Belt of the Ram from the new stuff. I mean, covers your con and your quality strength and speed if you need that. Helps with the set. It's also good. But that way you can choose for yourself what you need. But like I said, for me, I've gone for the Cornerstone Champion, which is a raid belt. It's got deception on it for strength, and it worked for me. It might not work for you. Now next, well, this ring here and this ring here. Legendary Lionheart ring, also from the new Feywild set. It's critically important because it has a stunning 23 on it for me, and insightful armor piercing, and obviously insightful con. Now, I'd say get insightful con from the Deep Snow Boots, which are also from the Feywild. Basically, if you are trying to get into raids, try get a 4-piece Winter set. Just again, Google like the Winter set, what parts would fit into your gear lineup, and then go farm those out. These have insightful con and quality con, which is kind of hard to gear for without feeling like you're going to lose slots. So these boots are great for that. And if you can get the 4-piece set here, you get 20% legendary bonus to your hit points. And while doing damage is important in raids, it's probably more important to stay alive. So keep that in mind. And then you can just put on some, like, I guess, the summer armor. Oh, sorry, not summer, the winter armor. And just whatever other winter bits you can find and shore up your HP problems. That's one way in. But like I said, with the rings here. So the Insightful Con I've got twice, but I also hotspot my boots a lot. Insightful Con, Insightful Armor Piercing. The Armor Piercing is important for getting more crits and going through high fort mobs. It's probably more important for Reaper content for me. The Stunning 23 gets you to around the 100 mark, which is where you want to be for a die charge in that kind of lower content. And some of the raids, 100 die charge would be quite effective. I usually change to the summer boots and boost myself up to try and get a little bit of a higher die charge to 120, 125 in Reaper kind of thing. That works on most things. The other ring I've got here is Legendary Ring of Prowess. The reason this might be best in slot is because it's got the melee power +8 on it. Not many other items have that on it. And it does stack with the helm melee power. Now for me it also has accuracy and deadly. They're critical kind of item enhancements for all melee DPS builds, and especially the paladin. You can get deadly and accuracy on other items. I believe there's a new Feywild artifact that are gloves that have deadly and accuracy. But obviously for me, like I said, the glove slot, if you choose to do that, you have to move all your gear around again. This drops from some old content. I believe it's somewhere in the harbour. Oh, I forget. I'll have to Google that one as well. And the last piece of gear here is the collective sight. So the collective sight drops in Blown Deadline in the Sharn stuff. I think a lot of people are farming that, so if you put up a group for on normal or hard, surely people are going to come and help you. And if you're running it over and over, you get comfortable with it. You can put your own stats on it, your own base stat and insightful stat. I've gone con and charisma here, which is why my gear setup is like it is. Now the other options for in-game here is going double strength or double con, or even like strength charisma, or just whatever you think you need. I had this, and that's why I built into having charisma on here. If you go, say, double charisma, which would be great, then you can move yourself into the brand of Cloak Shash, and then you will have, that item's gone, disappeared. Awesome. There it is. So if you said, like I said, if you had double charisma here, then you could have your strength there, and then you wouldn't need this, and you could change that up. And so what it does is just opens up more and more options. But I chose to do it like this because I had those goggles. But so basically, what I'm saying to work towards here is to pick an item that you need, and then go and get it, but also be open to other items. Like I said, you go for a full summer set, you can go for a full 4-piece winter set, and then whatever else you can fit. The set bonuses are gravy, and you want to work towards them, but it's not going to like hold you back from jumping in and doing raids. As long as you've got a few bits and pieces and you're going to contribute, that's probably enough. Now next, I've got a raid weapon. So if you haven't done raids yet, you will not have a raid weapon, and that's fair enough. I'd say the Black Razor Sword, which comes from White Plume Mountain, or an Epic Sword of Shadows if you got that, because you're an old time player. It might be your best bet. This also depends on what deity you're following and what item or what weapon is best for you. But this thing is great damage. It's got great base damage, 7, 2d6. And then you'll be contributing a fair bit in raids. And from there, basically, you just got your filigrees and stuff. But if you haven't really done raids yet, I find it unlikely that you would have maxed out all your filigrees on your weapon. So that's another thing to work towards later. Now, I have some other bits and pieces here to make things maybe easier. The Legendary Necklace of Bottled Sunlight is from Feywild. It's got Dark Charisma on it. It's just basically, it's a summer piece. It's a necklace if you don't want to go farming the Legendary Family Recruit Sigil. It's just another piece that I guess you can fit it in. It's got, like I said, it's got charisma on it. Also use quality charisma on these Legendary Sunken Slippers, which are from the Docks quests. Just for I swap into those to use my Divine Might. It gives a bit of a boost. There is other ways to get quality charisma, as I said before at the start. That the other trinket, the Battle Worn Medal, and that is basically it. Before we start getting into a lot of raid items, but this setup here should you'll be working towards it for a long time, and it should be wildly effective. There's obviously room for improvement, and I'm happy to hear other people's ideas, or if this is too high of a barrier to entry, happy to hear about that as well. And then people can tell me what gear they have, and then we can work on just getting them to feel comfortable, getting in those raids, getting some completions, getting some runes, getting some gear. That's what it's all about. Also, I guess people are probably concerned about slots. So with the slotting, they've recently made the update which made it so slots are becoming more and more important and valuable. I've got 3 pieces here with the Wild Fortitude, which is +4 con. If you do go for like a 7-piece summer or even a 4-piece winter, it kind of becomes restrictive and it seems hard to fit in these 3-piece sets. But if you haven't done raids, it's very unlikely you're going to be close to getting 3-piece raid sets slotted anyway. Good things to slot are Greater Heroism, just drops in the new content. Globe of True Imperial Blood is +1 to all stats, I believe. You can find on the auction house, on the Shard auction house. It's a bit expensive, but maybe someone to give one to you. I'm not even sure where it drops, to be honest, because I was lucky enough to just buy one. Some of the things I've slotted here is Sapphire of Shatter +14. Don't worry about that one too much, guys. Sorry. Essence of the Epic Litany of the Dead slotted in there. That's another raid Item slot, wouldn't worry about that either. Another one. So here I've got Sapphire of Resistance to boost my saves. That one might be handy, but it's expensive to unslot things. So if you do go start putting in your slots, you got to think about it. Make sure you get it right, because you don't want to spend the money undoing it. Also, you don't need to have slotted items to be jumping into raids. I think the most important thing is to have a toon that's got some HP, a little bit over 2,000 if possible, and comfortable to like follow orders if need be, and just help the team. A lot of people are understanding if you jump in and say, no, I haven't done this before. Another thing which is going to be crucially important, no, it's aside from gear here, but I've mentioned it before, but I want to mention it again. This Sacred Defender tree, for a new Paladin player, I completely understand you can have points in here, probably up to as high as here somewhere. We're getting some con and HP. This stance, as I've said, when you're in this stance, you're going to cause problems with your threat generation. You will probably steal aggro from the tank, even if you're a brand new player. If it's the only way you can get over 2,000 HP, then I understand, and maybe it's worth doing. But just keep that in mind. And when you do take aggro, you'll either die, and you might feel bad, that happens, but just don't run away. If the boss turns onto you, just like stand your ground, stop attacking, and let the team reorganize the boss's aggro. You should get a heal and stuff. It's a raid, you know, that shit should happen. But if you are playing a Paladin, you want to be putting all your points into this Knight of the Chalice tree. I've just got stuff over here because I play some Reaper content sometimes. You don't have to take the stuff at all. Just max out your Knight of the Chalice tree, get all that stuff there, and then basically you're ready to go to raids, do some damage, get some loot. I know that guide just then probably seemed a little bit intense for a new player, but what it is, it gives you things to work towards, items to work towards, ways to work towards those items, how to kind of fill out your slots by just googling the stat you need, and in time you'll be leading your own raids. So thanks for listening. I know that was pretty long-winded, but any problems or any questions, like, let me know. Happy to help as much as I can. Find me on Discord or in game. Alright boys, take it easy.